Are you debating if you should stay at the Universal Endless Summer Resorts? They're only value resorts that aren't walking distance to the parks? Well, then this video is for you. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Krystal Palace. Today we are going to be sharing some pros and cons, some reasons you should stay at the Endless Summer, Surfside, or Dockside Resort, and maybe a few reasons that this might not be the right hotel for you. So let's go get started. Let's start off with the number one reason why people should stay here and why I stay here time and time again. And that is the value and price of these hotels. The Endless Summer Resorts start at $99 a night and range up to over $200 depending on the time of year that you are visiting. Now, I have personally never stayed here over $110 a night. I do use the Universal Orlando annual pass holder hotel rates, which I highly recommend looking into getting a Universal annual pass in order to access these incredible hotel savings. But even if you're paying $150 a night, $99 a night, no matter what, it is still going to be a lot cheaper than staying at another hotel or maybe, down the street at some rival resorts. They are going to cost you a lot less, and you get free transportation. We're going to talk about all the benefits later. But the value is great. The rooms are clean. The hotel is clean. It's nice for the price. You are getting a really great deal. Also important to mention that the more people that are in your room, over two, the more expensive it's going to get. So for example, I looked at the prices for a trip June 18th to June 21st at Endless Summer Surfside. The price for two people a night is $182. This is not the annual pass holder discount rate. And the price for three people is $197. So just know when you're adding more people, it is going to, of course, increase that price per night. So if you're looking to do a budget-friendly trip to Universal Orlando, I highly recommend checking out the prices of the Endless Summer Resorts for the time of your visit, because you know what? It might just be worth it to stay at one of these places. Spend more money on food, tickets, and souvenirs. Now, I personally never see a downside of saving money, and I usually do go for the value resorts just because I'm always in the parks when I'm on a theme park vacation, right? And it's just somewhere I need to lay my head down at night, so I'm never picky, even though these Endless Summer Resorts are great. But if you do want to look at a downside, are value resorts, because they are the only Universal Orlando hotels that are not walking distance to the parks. So if that is a problem for you, then you might not want to stay at the Endless Summer Resorts. They do have bus transportation. That's always been great. But if you would rather have access to the water taxi or the walking path, you're going to want to stay at the other Universal Resorts. But that brings me to my next reason why you should stay at the Endless Summer Resorts, is because it provides free transportation, shuttle bus transportation right to Universal. You don't have to pay to park. You don't have to Uber. You don't have to wait for a bus that only comes once a day. The Universal shuttle buses run an hour before the park opens to an hour after City Walk closes at night. They run every 15 minutes. It's quick. It's convenient. It drops you off right in the parking garage. You go through security, you head in, and you really just can't beat free transportation. I mean, it's hard to find anything free nowadays. So included in your stay, you get transportation to the parks. Another reason why I love the Endless Summer Resorts is because it offers family suites, and affordable family suites for that matter. I actually got to stay in the family suite in Universal's Dockside Resort, and it was so great. If you're a family of 5 or if you're visiting with friends, this is such a great option at an affordable price. The prices aren't really that much more than a standard room, and it has a separate bedroom, it closes the door, it has a sink, it has a bathroom, and it also has a little table and a kitchenette area. So maybe you want to bring in some food or some drinks for your family. You have this nice little area. It's not large, but it's still a really great affordable option for larger families, larger groups to stay at Universal. Again, I am going to be pointing out some reasons that you might not want to stay at these resorts. However, I don't think that they're necessarily cons or bad things about these resorts. They just might not appeal to you. You might not be attracted to them, and that's totally fine. Everybody has their own preferences and reasons that they want to stay somewhere. I love these resorts. So the next reason you might not want to stay here is if you are trying to avoid crowds. The Endless Summer Resorts, because they are the value resorts, are going to be more crowded Endless Summer Surfside has 750 rooms and Dockside has 2,050 rooms. Dockside is humongous. Dockside and Cabana Bay, I kind of grouped together because they are really, really big resorts and they're very family oriented. So if you're not looking for that, if you're looking for a more intimate adult trip kind of stay, you might want to stay somewhere else. And if you're looking to compare all the Universal Orlando resorts, you could check out my video. I compare them all. I've stayed at all 8 of them. So I'll link that video in the description. But because of how many rooms these hotels do have, they can be crowded. They can be a little on the noisy side. This is something to look out and prepare for. If you stayed at the All-Star Movie Resorts over in Disney or Pop Century or Art of Animation, they're very comparable to these. What's really nice about the Endless Summer Resorts is that they're pretty much right off of International Drive. You can see the Kentucky Fried Chicken right behind me. What we really find beneficial to do is to walk right across the street to Walgreens. Endless Summer Surfside is a little closer, but we go over to Walgreens, we get a case of water for our trip, and it's a great way to save money on water. There's also a 7-Eleven, there's an IHOP, KFC, there's a little souvenir gift shop. Great places on iDrive that are all walking distance. You don't have to spend money on Ubers or anything like that to get there. If you forgot any toiletries, they have sunscreen, they sell souvenirs in there, they sell drinks, they sell food. Anything you might have forgot that you need, they have it at Walgreens, and of course for a normal price comparable to what you would buy at home. One of the most common questions I get asked is, are the walls thin at Endless Summer Resorts? And this is something that you need to be mindful of, because if you are not a great sleeper, the walls are thin at these resorts. Maybe not the walls are thin, but it is loud. You know, there's a lot of people that are going to be staying here. It's a louder resort, and you know what? It's a theme park vacation. So you just have to keep this in mind. And if this is something that bothers you, you might want to stay at one of the premier resorts. Those tend to be quieter. Another reason I recommend staying at the Endless Summer hotels is that the food courts have really great options for everybody in your party. There's a great variety of food options that are affordable. So, you know, your basic food court food like burgers, chicken fingers, but they also have some other options, grab and go and drinks. Their breakfasts are great, and there really is something for everyone, so nobody is gonna go hungry at these hotels. Now, of course, that brings me to say that the Endless Summer Resorts don't have any sit-down restaurants, so if you're looking for that, or you like, you know, having a nice sit-down meal at the end of the night, then you're gonna wanna stay at Sapphire Falls or Royal Pacific. They do offer that sit-down dining at those hotels. I kind of feel like I'm in a one-woman show here where I'm like saying the negative and I'm also saying the positive. So I'm going back to the positive. And one reason that I love the Endless Summer Resorts and the Universal Hotels is that they have Starbucks. Come on, that's all I have to say. What's also great is that you can use preloaded Starbucks gift cards from the app, as well as any annual pass holder discounts from Universal that you have. You're going to get great value at any of the Universal Orlando hotels, but the Endless Summer Resorts really are something special because they are new. They're the newest hotels at Universal Orlando, and the price you just can't beat. Staying at an Endless Summer Hotel will give you early park admission, complimentary package delivery to the luggage services, resort-wide charging privileges with your room key, and of course that complimentary transportation that we talked about. There are 4 Universal Orlando hotels that do allow pets, but the Endless Summer Resorts is not one of them. Another kind of sneaky charge to keep in mind, if you're staying at an Endless Summer Hotel and you are parking a vehicle, they're going to charge you $17 for overnight parking if you're a resort guest. But I wanted to point this out in this video because parking at a higher tier resort like Sapphire Falls is actually going to cost you more. Parking there is $31 compared to the $17 at Endless Summer. So there you go. There's a perk staying at the Endless Summer Resorts is that you're paying less for overnight parking. The Endless Summer Resorts do have pools. Surfside has 1 while Dockside has 2. They each have pool bars and they're not fancy, pretty much your standard pools, no slides, but it's still a great place to come back, cool off in the Florida heat, and I love the pools here. I think they're great. They have ping pong along the sides of the pools. They have some fire pits. It's just a really nice area to relax, hang out at the end of a Universal day. I will say the other Universal Orlando resorts allow you to pool hop, but if you are staying at Endless Summer, you can't. So that means you can't stay at Endless Summer and go over to Cabana Bay and try to use their pool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I personally love these resorts, and I'm gonna stay here time and time again just because it's a great value. If you enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the Krystal Palace right down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.